Hello everybody, and welcome to another Revan1207 Discusses. Today I'm going to be talking about something that I've thought about quite a lot, both a long time before this and right now, so I just thought I'd talk about it a little bit. So, I'm assuming, if you're watching this video, you probably know what the game Injustice Gods Among Us is. For those of you who don't, it's a fighting game developed by NetherRealm, who also made the very popular Mortal Kombat series, and they made a DC superheroes fighting game called Injustice Gods Among Us. And for those of you who don't know what DC Comics is, it's the comic book company that has heroes like Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, just to name a few. So, today I am going to be talking about what if NetherRealm or somebody were to make a Marvel fighting game, and that's something that I really want, since really the only Marvel fighting games that we've gotten were Marvel Superheroes Arcade, which I actually have on my computer, and games like Marvel vs. Capcom. And honestly, I think with the success that Injustice had, I think it would really be a good idea to make a Marvel fighting game. It could carry the name Injustice, I don't know. You can see on the screen here I've got a, not really box art, but it's just kind of a picture that I made with Blender 3D, which is a 3D modeling and animation program, and I kind of made different Marvel characters fighting and called it Injustice Civil War, which is kind of the name that I thought of. The reason why I chose Injustice Civil War is that I guess the plot of the game would kind of be similar to the Civil War storyline, which I haven't read, but I know that the Civil War storyline is pretty much something similar to the storyline in Marvel Ultimate Alliance 2, which I have played. And, yeah, so I think, honestly, if they don't do something like this, they're missing out on a huge opportunity, because it would probably make a lot of money. But these are just my thoughts on it. I actually made a document on my tablet here, and also I wrote this down basically back a few months ago, just listing all the characters that would be in it that I thought of, and like a few different costumes for each one, well, for most of them anyway. But just real quick, I'm just going to explain this picture that you're seeing here. So you can see Spider-Man fighting Thor. There were a couple of things from the original drawing of the cover that I made from this one, such as in the background I had Blade and Punisher fighting, and I also had Silver Surfer and Human Torch fighting, but I just got rid of those. And then you can see Hulk, which in the original he was fighting Wolverine, but I took that out. I don't know why, I just wanted to get the picture done quicker, I guess. And then you can see Captain America fighting Iron Man in the middle, and you can see Deadpool over by Deathstroke. You can't really see it, but he's holding a gun up to his head, and he's saying, "This is my game, Deathstroke," because he can break the fourth wall and stuff like that. So, I guess right now I'm just gonna give you the thoughts that I came up with for this game. So, like I said, it would be called Injustice Civil War. There are some characters you'd start out with, and some characters you wouldn't. Obviously, you would unlock some of them. So the first one that I have is Captain America. His default costume would be armored, which I had on my original drawing of this. I think it would be something similar to the costume that he wore in Captain America the First Avenger, because that was a bit more kind of armored suit, kind of like, I guess. But it would be something kind of like that. And then that would be the default costume. By the way, the first one that I say is the default, just so I don't have to say that every single time. The second one he has is the original from the comics, something similar to what you see on the screen here, I guess. And also, I know the people on the picture don't look that realistic, but I'm not that good at making actual people in Blender, so that's really the extent of what I can do, but you can still tell who they are for the most part. And then his third costume would be the costume that he wore in Captain America the Winter Soldier, which I can't think of the name of it. It appeared in the comics back a few years ago, but I can't remember what the comic that it was in was called. So, that's Captain America. You start out with him. You also start out with Iron Man. His default costume would be Mark 7. His second would be the original, which is the Mark 1, the big, bulky gray suit. And then his third one would be the Mark 42 from Iron Man 3. Spider-Man, another character you'd start with. He would have his normal, comic book look as a default. His second would be the black suit, the symbiote suit. And his third would be 2099, just because I really like the 2099 suit. I don't know if that would be the most likely to be the third one if they actually made this game, but it's just something that I threw in there. So, next we have Thor, who is another character you start with. His default costume is from the movie without the helmet. So, from like the Thor movies and the Avengers and things like that. The second one is the original with the helmet and without the beard and everything, pretty much his comics look. And then his third one would be Ultimate, which is the one that's in the picture right here, actually. The one that I used there. The next one is Hulk, who you also start out with. The default for him is the original, the green and the purple pants and everything. Then you would unlock Gray Hulk and Red Hulk. Wolverine is the next character. You would start out with him as well. The default costume for him would be Modern, which is similar to what he wore in X-Men Origins Wolverine. So I just thought I would throw that in there just because, it was in Marvel Ultimate Alliance and everything, and it looked pretty good. That was his default costume, I believe. So that's why I put that in there. Then the next one that he has is the Astonishing X-Men, I think it's called, which is his more well-known look, the yellow and the blue and the red and everything. And then his third one would be from the movie trilogy, the kind of black leather that they wore in X-Men, X2, and The Last Stand. Next character is Deadpool, who you do not start out with. I don't know why I did that, because Deadpool's my favorite superhero, but I guess you would just unlock him as you go through the game. His first default costume is his original costume, his normal comics look like what's on the picture there. His second would be X-Force, which, I actually have an action figure of that, but it's basically the red on his costume is replaced with dark gray, and his eyes, instead of white, they are red, I believe. And then the third one is one that I think would be pretty cool, is half regenerated. If you don't know, Deadpool has health regeneration just like Wolverine does, so it could kind of be a half regenerated version of Deadpool. Next character is another one you'd start out with, Human Torch. His default costume is his normal look, like when he's on fire, not when he's like in his Fantastic Four uniform, but when he's actually on fire. His second one is his Fantastic Four uniform, so that's kind of his normal human look. Then the third one is Modern, which was in Marvel Ultimate Alliance, but I can't... it was sort of his fiery look, but he was wearing like a t-shirt and jeans or something like that, which I don't care for much, but I just wanted to give him another costume, so there you go. Next is Silver Surfer, who you do not start out with, and the only costume that I could think of for him was his normal costume. Next is Punisher, who you do not start out with. His normal costume is his original, the black and the white gloves and boots and the skull and everything. Second suit for him, I don't really know what this would look like, but I thought Armored. Just because, I don't know, I just want to see it, I guess. I don't know what that would look like. I might be able to find a picture online of something like that, but I'm not sure. And then third would be the movie, which some people didn't like, but I thought, why not? It's basically kind of the vest and no sleeves and everything. Just thought that would be something for me to add. Blade is the next character. You do not start out with him. His default costume is his original kind of normal look with the black, I think, trench coat or whatever it is, and the glasses and everything. And then Daywalker, which I heard of from Marvel Ultimate Alliance. It's basically he's bald and he doesn't have any sleeves and he's wearing kind of a vest kind of thing, kind of like Punisher was in his movie. And Armored Blade, which I don't really know about this one, but oh well, I put it anyway. Next is Ghost Rider, who you also do not start with. His default suit is his original suit. There's really nothing else I can say about that. And then Zarathos, which is the demon that possesses Ghost Rider. I think that was in Marvel Ultimate Alliance. I'm not completely sure about that, but I think it was, or something similar to it. I'm not completely sure, but no, I actually don't think it was, but I'll put a picture up anyway. And then Western Ghost Rider, which is, they could go two ways with this. They could go, I think, the comic way, where he's just all white, or they could go the movie way, where he's basically Ghost Rider with a cowboy hat and everything. Either way, I don't really care. Next is Cyclops, who is the X-Man who has the laser beam eye thing. His default suit would be original, which really nothing to say about that, I guess. Next would be Astonishing X-Men, which I think he actually has like a mask that covers the top of his head. It's not really, I don't think, all that different if I remember what it looks like, but oh well. And then the third is the movie trilogy, like I said, with Wolverine, the black leather and everything, which I kind of like. Next is Hawkeye, who you actually do start out with. His default costume is his original costume, the blue and the purple, which I honestly don't care for that much, but I just figured that it would have that. The second one would be the movie from the Avengers, and third would be Stealth, which I don't know what that would look like, but I just thought, why not? Next is Daredevil, who you do not start out with. His default suit would be original. His second would be Armored, which was in Marvel Ultimate Alliance, and I really liked that one, so I put that in there. And then his movie, which was sort of leather, I think it was, sort of like dark red leather. Next is Venom, who you do not start out with. His first costume would be original, second Ultimate, and third is Anti-Venom, which is basically the different color scheme. Because like normally he's mostly black with the white spider symbol, but this time it's reversed, he's white with the black spider symbol. Next is Doctor Doom, who you don't start out with. He would probably be something like the last boss or something. And the only thing I could think of him was his normal original costume. Next is Whiplash from Iron Man 2. His normal movie costume is the default one. Second is prison uniform, which is pretty much just him in a prison uniform, obviously, but he still has his whips and everything. And then next is Armored, which he has at the end of the movie. Next is War Machine, and kind of the default suit for him would be sort of the normal look for him. I put movie just because that's pretty much the normal look for him. By the way, you do not start out with him. I forgot to mention that. And his second costume would be Iron Patriot, which was in Iron Man 3. Next is Red Skull. You don't start with him, and pretty much the only costume for him is the original. Next is Loki. His default is the original with the helmet and everything, and then the movie without the helmet, because that's what he wears for the most of the movie, I think. Next is The Thing. You do not start out with him. His first costume is the original, and then Future Foundation, which is sort of white and black. Next is Elektra, who you do start out with, because I don't really care if you start out with her or not. I'm not a huge Elektra fan. But pretty much the only costume for her is her original. Then Spider-Woman, who you do not start out with. Her default costume is her original. And then I don't think I put it here, But I also, I think, had in my original written version of this, her Spider-Girl, which was in Marvel Ultimate Alliance, which is basically the same thing as the Spider-Man costume, only girl version. Next is Nick Fury. His first costume, you don't start out with him, by the way. His first costume is the original, and then the second is his Ultimate, which is pretty much the same thing as the movie version. Next is Black Widow, who you do start out with. First costume is her original, and then the movie. Then we got Blackheart, who you don't start out with. For those of you who don't know who he is, he's basically, I think he's Ghost Rider's enemy. He's one of Ghost Rider's enemies. The original costume is his default, and then the movie, which I don't really care for that much because he looks more like a human, but why not? Then we have Magneto. His first costume is the original. You don't start out with him, by the way. First is the original, and then the movie, which I guess would be sort of the... He had sort of like a black kind of costume. I'm not completely sure about that, but if I find that, I'll put that up on the screen. And then 3 characters also. Thanos would sort of be... I said before Doctor Doom would be the last boss battle, but Thanos probably would either be the last boss battle or you get him for some special achievement. Stan Lee, because why not? He would be kind of a cool character to use. And Deathstroke, because Injustice Gods Among Us had, I think it was Scorpion? I'm not completely sure about that, but I think that's who it was from Mortal Kombat. He was an unlockable character, so why not have Deathstroke from DC in the Marvel game? Plus, it sort of fits in with the picture I made with Deadpool and Deathstroke, since they're kind of similar. Next, I'm sorry this is going on so long, but oh well. Next is pre-order exclusives, which is something that I thought of doing. So you can get costumes and characters for this. So costumes that come for all of them is Deadpool without his mask, Spider-Man in spider armor, and Iron Man in his Mark V, which is sort of the portable suit, the suitcase kind of suit. Well, the one that is a suitcase and then it turns into a suit. And then you get characters specific to consoles. Every single one gets Vision. Xbox gets Dr. Octopus, PlayStation gets Black Panther, and PC gets Colossus. DLC costumes for that. You can get several different costumes for different characters. There would be like packs for different characters. So the Spider-Man would have the costume from the Amazing Spider-Man movie, the first one. Then you would also get Spider-Man Noir, Spider-Man Future Foundation, the Iron Spider, and Scarlet Spider. Next is Iron Man. You would get Mark II Iron Man, which is basically the same thing as the Mark III, only it's all silver. It's the one that he had before it got painted. And then you'd have Heartbreaker Iron Man, which was in Iron Man 3 and Ultimate. And next is Deadpool. You would have Wade Wilson from X-Men Origins Wolverine, that kind of normal look, you know, you can see his skin and everything. And then Weapon 11, which personally I feel like he is a different character from Deadpool, but I still think it would be cool to have that costume. And then you could also have some DLC characters. First is Guardians of the Galaxy, who I think, let me think, who does that include? That's Star-Lord, Drax, Groot, Rocket Raccoon, and I can't remember the woman's name, the green woman, I can't remember her name. And then you could get Mephisto, Heimdall, I think is how you pronounce that, Odin, Storm, Beast, Penance, and Doctor Strange. Next is stages. Again, I apologize, this is going on so long, but I just got so much stuff because I put quite a bit of thought into this actually. Stages that you would have is Asgard, Mephisto's Realm, Stark Tower, Baxter Building, X Mansion, Street in New York, the Daily Bugle, the Helicarrier, and Deadpool's Room. DLC stages would be Peter Parker's apartment, Bruce Banner's lab, and Doctor Doom's castle. Pre-order exclusives, all of them would have Times Square, Xbox would get a Subway, PlayStation would get Rikers Island, and PC would get Bifrost. So, that's really about it. Again, I apologize that it took so long, but I just had so much stuff that I wanted to get through. So, leave in the comments if you like my ideas. Leave your own ideas if you have any. Leave if you would like to get this game, or if you didn't, and why you wouldn't, because I don't understand why you wouldn't. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video. Subscribe to my YouTube channel for more gameplay videos and reviews and topic videos like this. Other topics that I'm doing right now is Batman Arkham Knight, Star Wars Battlefront, and I probably won't do this again, but I might. I'm not completely sure, but those two are definitely ones that I'm doing at the moment. I'll probably do some more in the future. And yeah, thank you very much for watching, and have a nice day.